Hi folks, it's Rich here, squashed between my two HSS budget strats, Harley Benton and Squier. I love this Squier. I've had a lot of guitars, a lot of strats. This one is a goodie. So just real quick for you, in case you don't know me, no reason why you would. I've been playing guitar on and off for years. I just committed to it a bit more this last year, so I'm no guitar virtuoso. However, I have had 71 guitars. Yes, 71. Basically, when it got tough, buy another guitar. Surely that will make it easier. Obviously, it doesn't. So, lots of strats, Mexicans and Squiers, and I've had 15 Harley Bentons now, Schecters, Skibbs, and all sorts of guitars. So, whilst I'm not a guitar expert by any stretch, or can play particularly well either for that matter, I have a lot of guitars to compare them to. So these two, I just got this, and I was curious to see what it was all about, having had an HSS Harley Benton before that was absolute rubbish, and this one is actually pretty good. But is it as good as my Squier? I don't know. Well, I think the thing here is that they're similar money. If you buy this directly from Thomann now with Brexit, if you're a UK person, with import fees and shipping and so on, it's closing in on £90 now. And the Squier bullets, which this is one of, they're about 110, so slightly more money, but what do you get for it? So I think first things first, we'll just do a little bit of a sort of a comparison on what the bodies are like. So hard to tell because of the colour difference on these and the lighting, but this is actually, Harley Benton's actually a bit thicker body wise than the Squier. It's almost a full thickness body. It's also heavier, even though they're both basswood. The Harley Benton is heavier. The tuners for your money. Now the Harley Benton ones are what generally are sort of like an upgrade on these hexagon shaped ones. Although if you see now all the Squier bullets, they come with these sort of roundy backed ones now. However, in this particular instance, they're both quite crap on these guitars. The Squier's actually got an upgraded nut, which helps with tuning it. Its stability, it's not too bad, but the tuners on both of them are a bit clunky. You know, stiff, loose. They're not great. So I think that's probably about the same. So no big deal there. They've both got two butterfly style string trees. So they do that job, and that's fine. Headstocks. Obviously, if you're a Fendery Squiery person, you'll like the more traditional headstock, which I do. The Harley Benton one's not too bad, especially in black. It sort of disguises its slightly ugly shape in my book. And like I say, the nuts on these, ooh, nuts. The Harley Benton is plastic. The Squier, this is an upgraded one. It would normally come with a plastic one. Now, I've had 6 Squier Bullet Strats outside, other than this one, and the plastic nut on those has generally been a bit better cut than it has been on the Harley Benton. So a small thing there. Another thing to note, if you're thinking of one of these two for a budget, the necks are not the same. The one on the Harley Benton is definitely a bit chunkier, although they're both C-shaped. And the Harley Benton is also a 13.75 inch radius. It's much flatter than your standard 9.5 with the Squier. So it'll feel different for playing chords, it'll feel different for playing lead. So it depends on your preference really, but they are quite different. So it's not like if I pick up the Harley Benton, oh, it's just like a Strat. It's not. It's different. The frets on the Harley Benton are jumbos. They're listed as medium jumbos, but they are most definitely not. So if you might like that, you might want chunkier frets. That's fine, but they're not medium jumbo. They are definitely jumbo. The backs of the necks, obviously on the Squier, they're unfinished. Well, they've got a very light finish on them. They're both very smooth. So whilst they feel very different in terms of what the material are, they are both smooth, sort of quick necks. The Harley Benton has come with no sharp fret ends, which is amazing because the previous one cut your hands to shreds. So some quality control there. But that's okay. And this Squier, this one's a bit of an older one, so that's cheating really. But the current Squiers, I've had several of them. The frets on those have also been okay. So that's a kind of a draw, I suppose. Not much difference there. The fretboards, oh, turn you around. Have I just bumped you? Or was that a bit of fluff? Hold on. Ah, that's interesting. That is interesting. Can you see that? That bump That's taken some of the finish off by me just holding these two together and accidentally knocking them. Wow. That is not going to last very long, is it? Jeez. So, finish on the Harley Benton, bloody hellfire. Don't knock it again. Jesus, Rich, be careful. Wow, that's terrible. Where was I? Neck, fingerboards, rosewood on the Squier, blackwood on here. The Squiers nowadays will come with Indian laurel generally, which I don't really like. It's a much lighter wood. They're usually quite dry. Having said that, the one on the Harley Benton as well, this blackwood one, whilst it looks dark now, it picks up muck quickly. I know this because I had another Harley Benton with this same wood. Picks up muck quickly, dust. It starts to kind of lose its colour. You'd need to get the strings off and clean it up more frequently, for sure, compared to the Indian laurel ones. So I think Indian laurel wins out. I still can't believe I've just put that tiny dink on it just from touching it. Bloody hell. Anyway, on the back, they've both got skinny little blocks in there, so that's not much different. And they also have both, even though they've got vibrato arms, the Harley Benton came hard-tailed, and this Squier is the same. I think when you buy any of these kind of guitars, you probably wouldn't want to use the trem arm particularly because they go up tune really quickly anyway. But they do tend to come quite firm. So well, this one's actually it's as good as hardtailed. So if you really wanted to use the vibrato arm on one of these cheaper guitars, you would have to take the back off and play with the springs to loosen it off a little bit. In terms of the knobs, obviously they're all same in terms of Strat style. They feel about the same. Don't knock it, Richard. This one's an older one, it's been used a lot more, but they both feel absolutely fine, to be honest. The input jacks on them both are fine as well. So, you know, they're in perceived quality, there's not a huge amount in it. I have to say the Harley Benton, whether it's just this finish on the back of the neck or what it's like, I don't know. Whilst it looks cool, it just feels a bit cheaper somehow. It just even down to the plastic on the pickups, just look more plasticky if that's possible. I don't know. It just feels a bit cheaper. But now I'm not clever enough on doing video editing to show back-to-back clips as such. So all I'm going to do is play a few little chords with the Harley Benton and clean and distortion on a couple of tiny leady bits, and the same on here. And the things I'm really looking out for are the volume knobs and the tone knobs. Do they work? Is there much difference between the top and the bottom? Because often on these kind of guitars there isn't. They're either on or they're off. So do the tone knobs work? And really the pickup heights on both of these is very, very similar as well. The action is set lower on the Squier in terms of strings, but they've both got 10s, and the pickup heights are about the same. So I'd be interested to see what the volume difference is and the tone difference, really, if there is much in it. Because like I say, I know it's just a Squier, but I rate this, having had lots of Strats. So let's just, look at that. I can't believe that. Oh, man. What an idiot. Anyway, let's plug it in. It's not a bit too loud. Oh, let's drop that down a bit so you can see it, instead of just seeing my ugly mush. Right. Oop, let's turn it back up a bit, in fact. Right, clean. Clean with a bit of reverb and delay, nothing ridiculous. Now, there's a Blackstar V2 amp, by the way. Turn that up a little bit more. So neck pickup. And tone all the way up at the moment. About halfway. So it has gone down, good. All the way down. Dark, horrible. So tone on the neck, that does work. I don't know how usable you think those tones actually are. They're a bit grim when it's dark. It just sounds a bit muddy really, but it works. So if I go to the middle, and we'll do the same on the tone on that one. Same deal really, does work. Feels like there's a bit of a top, middle and bottom to it, but they work. Okay, right. Just quickly compare that. Excuse me, Mr. Squier. Come here, you beauty. Right, neck. Oh, got a pig in there as well. Oh, I just pulled that string off. Yeah. Right, sorry. Neck. That's darker, isn't it? So that's tone all the way up. Interesting. Okay. So it's fair to say that neck pickup is darker. But the tone, fairly similar, release a bit top, middle or bottom, which is fair enough. Right, let's go to the middle position and do the same again. Tone all the way up. Bit crackly, old pops. Yeah, okay, so Squier, same. They do work, but they do feel a little bit top, middle and bottom. Right, whilst the Squier is in my hands, we'll just do a tiny bit on the neck, the middle and the bridge. I won't bother with the ones in between. So just tone all the way up. Actually sounded a tiny bit overdriven, and that's because I got the volume up on the guitar rather than the amp. So let's just turn it up a bit and clean it up a little bit. Let's put it back where it was. So neck quite dark, I would say, which I like on this. You can get some nice creamy tones out of that. Middle. And the bridge. Punchy. It's got some oomph, that bridge. Middle. Good sustain. And on the neck, so. I really like neck on this. I like the fact it's a bit dark. Right, so clean. So we've got sort of fairly dark on the front, nice and creamy, spangly in the middle, and bitey at the back. Right, bear with me, swap over. Shove that in there, doink. Right, so neck. Brighter. Volume output, I'd say, is about the same. Middle. Now, small thing, I don't think this sustains quite as much. Not a big deal. I mean, neither of them are, you know, not like mahogany bodied neck throughs or anything. And again, slightly brighter, I would say, but more output. And on the bridge, yeah. I'd say the Squier is slightly more, it's a bit clearer. Yeah, okay, right. Let's do that again with crunchy. Not going to go like super overdriven, just literally just the crunch channel. Oh, bear with me. What? Take that off. Right, neck. Let's go all the way back to the bridge, because it's really the bridge you'd be mainly interested in, the humbucker for crunching. Actually, let's go fully overdriven. Take that off there. Okay, annoying the neighbours a bit, but so I'd say it's quite bright, decent amount of output. Let's just see. I just scratched that again now. Right, just pick this up. Excuse me. Woo. So just back to just crunchy crunch. Oh, well, come on, amplifier. See, to me straight away that's better, isn't it? It's just clearer, isn't it? I think it's just a clearer kind of tone. Maybe a bit more sustain. Same again in the middle. And on the bridge. I think it's louder as well, more articulate and louder. This is like some serious overdrive. Sorry, neighbours. So. My thoughts. I'm a bit biased, I have to say, because I love this Squier, but I think you just get a bit more guitar for that tiny bit more money. It just feels a little bit more refined, you know. It just feels, it's still an inexpensive guitar, don't get me wrong, but it just feels a bit better made. The neck just feels a bit nicer. And the pickups on the Harley Benton, whilst for the money they're okay, they're definitely better on the Squier. They're just, you can hear the notes a bit more. There's a little bit more difference between the different sounds. It is just a little bit better. So, and again, obviously from a neck point of view, it's personal preference, whether you like a more of a rounded radius or a flatter one. But if you've got this set up, I've got this Squier set up super low. It's just a nicer guitar, so I think Squier wins the day for me. But you can't go wrong with either of them, really. So yes. Anyway, thank you for watching.